What if I told you that the fate of the wizarding world, the very balance between light and darkness, wasn't solely decided by Harry Potter? What if the true architects of power, the ones who shaped history with a flick of their wand, were largely operating in the shadows, their true might often underestimated? We're talking about wizards whose names echo through the ages, whose spells could rewrite reality, and whose influence, for better or worse, is undeniable. Forget the flashy duels for a moment. Today, we're diving deep into the arcane, uncovering the 5 most formidable magical minds ever to grace the pages of Harry Potter. And trust me, the #1 spot might just shock you. Let's start with a name that, for many, is synonymous with pure, unadulterated magical prowess. A wizard whose very existence was a threat, a force of nature that even the most seasoned auras feared. We're talking about the undisputed master of the dark arts, the one who dared to challenge the very concept of death. Number 5. Lord Voldemort. Now before you say, obvious, hear me out. Voldemort's power wasn't just about his proficiency in curses, though that was immense. It was his understanding of magic, his willingness to push its boundaries to horrific extremes. His creation of Horcruxes, a feat so dark and complex that it's barely whispered about, demonstrates a level of magical knowledge and sheer willpower that is, frankly, terrifying. He didn't just learn spells, he dissected the very essence of magic, twisting it to serve his insatiable desire for immortality. His dueling skills were legendary, capable of overwhelming multiple skilled wizards simultaneously. His power was so profound that his mere presence could instill paralyzing fear. He was a dark mirror, reflecting the potential for magic to be used for absolute dominion, and his mastery over it, even in his fractured state, was unparalleled. But here's the twist. Voldemort's power, while immense, was ultimately self-destructive. His obsession with immortality, his inability to comprehend love and sacrifice, became his undoing. He was a master of destruction, but not of creation or true understanding. He was a force, yes, but a force that was ultimately contained. Number 4. Albus Dumbledore. It's easy to see Dumbledore as just a kindly old headmaster, a dispenser of wisdom and a protector of Harry. But to underestimate him is to fundamentally misunderstand the true nature of magical power. Dumbledore's strength lies not just in his formidable dueling abilities, and let's be clear, he was arguably the only wizard Voldemort ever truly feared, but in his unparalleled understanding of magic's most complex and nuanced aspects. He mastered transfiguration to a degree few could even comprehend. His knowledge of ancient runes and charms was encyclopedic, and his understanding of the human heart, its strengths and its weaknesses, was his greatest weapon. He could conjure a Patronus of immense power, perform feats of legilimency and occlumency that were second to none, and his strategic mind was always several steps ahead. He understood the power of love, of sacrifice, of choice. Concepts that Voldemort, in his arrogance, dismissed entirely. Dumbledore's power was in his foresight, his ability to orchestrate events from behind the scenes, to inspire hope, and to make the ultimate sacrifice for the greater good. He didn't just wield magic, he embodied it. Now, we're going to delve into a realm of magic that predates even the most ancient wizarding schools. We're talking about a power so primal, so fundamental, that it's almost a force of nature itself. This is a wizard whose very existence is tied to the deepest, most ancient magic of the world. Number 3. Gellert Grindelwald. Many might know Grindelwald as the charismatic dark wizard who preceded Voldemort, a formidable opponent who wielded the Elder Wand with terrifying skill. But his power went far beyond mere dueling prowess. Grindelwald was a visionary, a sorcerer who believed he was destined to lead the wizarding world, to liberate wizards from the oppression of muggles. His charisma was a magical weapon in itself, capable of swaying masses and building an army of devoted followers. His understanding of ancient magic, particularly his fascination with the Deathly Hallows and the Elder Wand, allowed him to tap into power sources that others couldn't even conceive of. He was a master manipulator, a brilliant strategist, and his ambition was matched only by his magical talent. He was able to perform feats that defied conventional magical understanding, and his influence spread like wildfire across continents. He was a dark reflection of Dumbledore's own youthful idealism, twisted into a dangerous pursuit of power. We've seen darkness, we've seen wisdom, and we've seen revolutionary ambition. Now let's turn our attention to a wizard whose power is so ancient, so deeply ingrained in the very fabric of magic that it's almost beyond human comprehension. This isn't about spells learned or duels won, it's about an inherent, almost elemental connection to magic itself. Number 2. Salazar Slytherin. What if I told you that one of the most feared and misunderstood figures in wizarding history wasn't just a dark wizard, but a visionary whose ideas, though radical, shaped the very foundations of magic as we know it? We're talking about Salazar Slytherin. Forget the simplistic evil label. The truth is far more complex and, frankly, a lot more interesting. Imagine a world where blood purity wasn't just a prejudice, but a deeply held, almost scientific belief. A belief that drove him to create something legendary. Something that still echoes through the halls of Hogwarts today. But what was the real reason behind his obsession? Was it pure malice, or something far more calculated? For centuries, Slytherin has been painted as the villain, the architect of division. But to truly understand him, we need to peel back the layers of myth and legend. He wasn't just some power-hungry sorcerer. He was a co-founder of Hogwarts, a man with a vision for magical education. And that vision, at its core, was about preservation. Preservation of what, exactly? That's where things get complicated. He believed that magic itself was a fragile gift, easily diluted by those he deemed unworthy. This wasn't just about snobbery, it was about a perceived threat to the very essence of magical power. He saw the potential for magic to be misused, to be lost, and he was determined to prevent it. Now let's talk about the Parseltongue. This ability, the language of snakes, was Slytherin's unique mark. It wasn't just a quirky talent, it was a key to unlocking ancient power, a connection to something primal. And he believed this connection was inherently tied to his bloodline. This is where the narrative gets truly fascinating. He wasn't just teaching, he was engineering a legacy. He was looking for a successor, someone who could carry on his vision, someone who understood the true potential of magic. And that search, that desire for continuity, is what ultimately led to the creation of the Chamber and its terrifying guardian. Number 1. Merlin. What if I told you the most powerful wizard in history wasn't Dumbledore, not Grindelwald, not even Voldemort? We're talking about a name whispered in hushed tones, a legend so ancient his very existence is debated, a wizard whose influence shaped the magical world as we know it, yet whose true story remains shrouded in mystery. We're diving into the enigma of Merlin. Think about it. The Order of Merlin, the highest honor in the wizarding world, awarded for extraordinary magical feats. But who was this Merlin, whose name is synonymous with ultimate magical achievement? Was he just a myth, a bedtime story for young witches and wizards? Or was there a real, tangible force behind the legend? The books tell us he was a legendary sorcerer, a trusted advisor to King Arthur. But in the wizarding world, his legacy is far more profound. He wasn't just a wizard, he was instrumental in establishing the very foundations of modern magic. Think about the Ministry of Magic, the Statute of Secrecy. These weren't accidents. They were carefully constructed systems, and Merlin was at the heart of their creation. And here's the kicker. His magic wasn't just about flashy spells. It was about understanding the essence of magic itself. He could influence minds, shape destinies, and even, some say, commune with creatures long forgotten. His true power wasn't just in what he did, but in what he knew. And that, my friends, is a kind of magic we're still trying to comprehend. What do you think was Merlin's greatest secret? Let me know in the comments.